It's really great to be here. I think the most important thing is to plan ahead, plan for the worst, and practice those plans. Think of the worst things that can happen, then think of even worse things, and then what would you do if those things happen? Think about that. Talk about that with your colleagues. So, I mean, what I would suggest people do for scenario planning, as we call it, or thinking ahead as to what would I do in the worst possible environment, is sit down with a few friends or a few colleagues in the election organization, and each try to compete with the other one to come up with the worst possible scenario. And let's see who is the most imaginative in your group. And as you bounce these ideas off of one another, then think about what would you do to possibly counter or recover from. I think countering is not anything you can really do, but you can recover from these bad events.
And that plan should not be in your computer or on your phone.
Well, you can have one copy in your computer or on your phone, but you should also have a copy on paper, because if your computer or your phone is hacked, and very likely, and we know that these things can be done remotely. So someone in an Eastern European or Russia can remotely access your computer, whether it's a desktop, a laptop, or your mobile device with a phone or a tablet, and there's no way you can get to them if they do that. But nobody's going to hack a stack of papers. So, maybe it's more efficient for you to have your voter registration list on your computer. That's great. But if for some reason you feel that something in that voter registration program is not working properly, if someone else has taken control of that, I would pull the plug on that computer. I would stop using that computer, and I would resort to the old paper list, which nobody remotely is going to get to that paper list.
You just used a phrase, pull the plug. Some people might be afraid to do that.
Don't be afraid. If your computer is connected to other people's computers, and you believe that your computer has been hacked, then the adversaries are going to try and get to everybody's computer or every other computer in the network from your computer. And one way to prevent that from happening is to pull the plug on your computer. Literally pull out the Ethernet cable or shut off the wireless network on your computer. And then the adversary has no way of jumping from your computer to the rest of the system. You've protected the system. And there's a wonderful true story about that, where Russia attacked the Ukraine in 2016 with a cyber attack on 6 different energy power stations, electricity power stations. And 5 of those power stations, those areas of the country, went completely dark because a Russian hacker had taken control of the industrial control systems that control the grid, and we have videos that the FBI has videos, which are considered confidential, showing the Russian attackers, adversaries, manipulating the screen and clicking on the different circuit breakers in the grid and turning them off. And there is one section of the country, however, that kept the lights on. And that was because the operator at that console saw that somebody else had taken control of his control system console and was starting to turn off circuit breakers. And he literally pulled the Ethernet plug out of the back of his computer, and the electricity stayed on for that part of the country.